Hello and welcome, Andrea here. Don't mind behind me, that's the top of my dresser. And then we'll just block it out of your mind. Um, I'm going to go through brows. How I do my brows now that my eyes are good and I don't have to take my medicine no more. I'm going to walk you through how I do my brows. That is all today's video is going to be, is brows. So I'm going to turn on my lighted mirror. Where is it? There it is. And then I'm going to set this up just perfectly. So now you guys have some light and you can see what's going on. What you're going to need is your brow palette. Our brow palette has a brush that comes with it, and notice it is slanted. And this is the light shades one. So I got the color you're going to use, the highlighting, and the wax. The wax you're going to use to help get your color. So you need the palette and the brush. I don't think I'm going to use our brush that comes with the palette today, so I'm just going to set that aside because I have other brushes and I have my own like this that's a little bit thinner and more easier to work with. And I'll be able to tell if I actually have the product on it because our brush is black. I've used it before and it's really good, but I think I'm going to use my Hello Kitty brush today, which is the same exact style. It's slanted as well. A concealer brush, and you'll know it's a concealer brush because it's got that rounded tip and it's just small, able to be defined. And then a spoolie brush. If you do not have a spoolie brush, if you have an old mascara, save one of the wands and then you will have a spoolie brush. So a spoolie brush, I'm going to set that one aside because before I got this, I had that. So I got a spoolie brush. And then this one I may use as well for concealer to help get more defined. And it is just a flat brush. That's all it is just a flat brush. And it will help me get more angled in with the concealer if I need it. My concealer is right here. It is just a simple dollar store concealer. But we're not going to use it until after we put the color from our palette on our brows. So here we go. I will lean in so you can see what I'm doing, and I'll be looking down so you'll be able to see. Notice how my eyebrows are not fully defined and there's gaps and everything. That is where the eyebrow palette will come in handy. So I'm gonna set this straight up and down so that all the concealer stays down where I need it, where I knot it. Now I'm going to take the spoolie brush before anything else, and we're going to brush our brows and make sure that they're good and perfect. Now we're going to brush them up so that we can find the bottom line. What I mean by bottom line is where your hairs are for your brow. That is what you're going to follow. Now you want to dip into the wax first. So we're going to dip into the wax. This is going to help you get more of a defined, and it's just going to help you keep your brush more of a sharp point. And then we're just going to brush in and get that color on the brush. Now you see, I brushed it up. So now I'm going to come in and I'm just going to go just underneath, and I hold my other mirror up close so that I can go just underneath and follow that line with the hairs. So that is literally all you're doing. And the wax is going to help you get it more defined where you want it. And if you need more, dip into more color. Don't be afraid of color because you can always tone it down with the spoolie when everything is all said and done. And that is just lining the bottom right now. So that's all we're doing right now. I'm looking down into my mirror when I could be looking up. I'm trying not to put the mirror up over my brow so that you guys can actually see. And I'm kind of down so that I actually have the light as well. So all I have done is lined the bottom. Now you're going to take your spoolie again and you're going to brush down. Now this is where it gets fun because now you're going to line the top. There again, dip in your wax, dip in your color, and then find the top of your brow. I always define the end of the brow first before I come up to the front. Never be afraid to dip back in and get more color on your brush. So now our brow is lined and it looks really funny. Now's the part where you're going to dip in the wax again and dip in the brown, and you're just going to fill all that in. And most brows are darker towards the end and lighter towards the front. So that is how you want to do it. And notice I made the underneath line longer than the top. It's because I'm following my hairline and it's naturally curved. So, and if you feel like you have gaps, dip back in, get more color. We're only going to do one brow today so that you can see what it looks like when you've got your brow really good and defined. So now you can see I'm filling that in. I still have a gap right there, so I'm going to dip back in and I'm going to just fill that in. And if you feel like you're going out of the lines, don't worry about it. That is where the concealer is going to come in. So now we have that going. Our brow is good. Now I'm going to come back in with a spoolie, and you want to follow your hairlines. And it seems kind of funny because lighter in the front and darker in the back. And the more you work with your spoolie, you see how that's thinning out. You see how I kind of went like that? It kind of helps. And then you're just kind of brushing it out. And you notice how it's making it kind of go up and away? It's okay. Now's the time where you want to shape your brow where you want it. Mine naturally curved. And so I'm just going with that natural curve. So there you go. And yes, I'm aware that it's all up and away. I'll get close so you can see it's all, that made it poof out. So now is where you come in with your concealer. A little dab of concealer goes a long way. That right there will go a long way. Now, how I put my concealer on my brush, I'm going to use the concealer brush. You get it on your brush and you brush it out on your hand a little bit. You don't want too much on your brush. So it looks like you got a lot on your brush, but you really don't. I'm going to come back in with my mirror. And like we did before, we're just going to line where the hairs are. And then if you want, you can bring it down. So line where the hairs are, or just underneath the hairs. And it will tickle because you're doing it with your eyes open and with, see, now I'm going to pull that down. So it's going to like conceal your eyes as well, not just your brows. So let's do that. That's what I normally do. I normally put it all over my lid as well. And so there is the bottom. And all I have done is I followed the hairlines of my hairlines. So now the bottom part is defined. Now I'm going to come back in with more concealer. That's actually almost too much concealer on my hand. So now I'm going to come to the top, and you're going to follow the same. Follow the hairlines. Follow your brow line. Let's see, I didn't put near enough on my brush that time. See, look at how much of that stuff finding the brow. You don't necessarily need a lot. A little goes a long way. And mine come to a point right there. I actually need to get my brows done. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come and thin out that line just a smidge. Try not to bump into your brow because you just defined them. And I'm aware that we have not done the tip of our brow yet. It is okay. We have not done this part yet. I'm going to get a little bit more. And then we're going to come in. You're going to find that natural curve that your brow does. Mine does a curve. and just go down. And then I naturally just carry it out. So already you can see a difference between the brows. More defined, not defined. So I'm just going to fix this little line right here. And you notice all my brow hairs are going this way because I have brushed them this way. So there we now have the concealer on. I didn't need this brush, so we're just going to put that one over here. Now comes the fun. We're going to take setting spray and a sponge. I'm going to use the tip of the sponge that's clean. So this side of the sponge, I'm going to go 1. Oh, that totally missed. 1, 2, because I have a fan behind me. And then when it's on there, you want to go 1, 2, 3, get it on there. And then now it's the fun part. We're just going to dab. You don't want to rub, you want to dab. And this is just going to help blend out that concealer and make it to where it's more defined. So as you're doing it, it's actually better defining your brow. Because see how I'm doing it? It's better defining the brow. And if you have to come back in with your spoolie brush, which most of the time I have to, you can use your spoolie brush and brush, and then things are good. So there is a difference between our brows. I have blended in that concealer so it looks good, and then there's that brow. So I like this one better. And then I'm just going to fix my brow right there. So now we have a brow that has been done and one that has not. So you can see the difference. This is what a brow palette does. It helps you better define your brows so that they're more noticeable compared to a normal brow. I'll just brush it normally, sometimes when I don't feel like doing my brows, and it helps a little bit. But using the brow palette, you get that more defined, edgy look. So, fun, simple brows. And that was the simple way of doing brows. There's a more complicated, outgoing way of doing it, where you can use a brow pencil. Is this the one? No, that's the black. We don't want the black. This is the brown. So here's the brown for the brow pencil. You basically just do the same. So brush your hairs up. And then you come in. I'll lean forward a little bit. You come in and you just line with the brown pencil. So there you go. The bottom part is lined. Now we're going to brush them down. And then we're going to just line again. I'm doing it with the brow pencil. It gets a little bit more defined because you have more control. And then you just fill it in. However dark or light you want. The brow pencil, I always end up darker than what I plan on it. But again, you can tame it down. So with the brow pencil, it's kind of dark. I'm going to put it, close it. Now we're going to brush. See how it's taming down the color as you brush. So brush. This actually puts it more defined in the brows where you want it as well. And there again, you would come in with the concealer. That's the brow pencil. I want to put that over there. So concealer brush, come in with the concealer. And then you want to just conceal underneath. And my brows are always darker when I use the brow pencil. And then I brush it down. And remember, a little concealer goes a long way. Trying to make sure they're semi-twins. But remember, I'm using the pencil on this one. And then we're just going to brush that down. Now we're going to come and do the top. So to do the top, we're going to brush it down. And get the concealer on the brush. I'm going a little bit darker and heavier on this one so I can better control where it's going. And then you just want to smooth it out. So what I do to smooth it out is I brush it up. You see how it's kind of smoothing it out as I'm doing that? Now this is the part, the front part, always gets me. A lot of people like to do the unibrow until they get the hang of this. I have never done the unibrow thing. So there you go. You have with the pencil and with our palette. I like the lighter look better, so I always use our palette. So this is the palette from Vic Cosmetics. My brow pencil is just a dollar store brow pencil. I can make it go lighter if I wanted to, but I did the medium shade, which would be the medium shade that you would get kind of from our NYX palette up. So there is that. So now I'm going to take my blender brush that is already wet, find the wet part, and then we're just going to blend out that concealer. And yes, I'm aware I'm tapping the brow as I'm doing it. Sometimes I'll push in and I'll twist. But then blend out the concealer. There we go. Now I'm just going to brush my brow a little bit. So there we go. Brow pencil, Vic Cosmetics palette. So wonderful. You can do it either way. I prefer using our palette, and I did use our wax today. The only one I have not done yet is the highlighting. And now that I've done all that, I come in. That is where I'm going to use the flat one that I had earlier. I'm going to get the highlight on there, and then I'm just going to go underneath the brow. So you're kind of making your brow stand out. So that is all I'm going to do. And then I will sometimes come in, because you don't have one when you do a normal brow pencil. And so I'll come in and I'll put the highlight down here for this brow as well. So there you go. Two beautiful, wonderful brows. So a fun, simple look. You can use a pencil, or you can use an actual brow palette, which is a powder. There are times where I've actually gone in, and let me see if I can find it for you. Because I know some of you who have been with me for a while know I have used actual eyeshadow to do my brows as well. So you can use whatever you have on hand to make it work and make it good for you. So that is the tip for today. That is all of our video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been extremely helpful for you. I'm not going to go all out with makeup today because my eyes are still healing. And I don't want to put mascara on. I can do eyeshadow. I am doing a little bit of eyeshadow to show you the wonderful looks that you can create with our palettes. I just grabbed one of them. I grabbed our spring summer palette. Wonderful. I love it. I love this green color. It is so pretty. And when you mix it with the purples down below, the brown, gold brown down below it, it's even more pretty. So we're going to take that green color and we're just going to go and put that in our crease. Look at that. That helped bring out the brow as well. Look at that. So pretty. And I'm kind of holding mid in my brush so that it's just kind of floating where it wants to. And we're going to do the same on this other brow. I'm going a little bit above my crease and below. So it's kind of getting everywhere. So now I'm going to clean off the brush. I'm just using the natural brow brush, not the blending eye brush. Sorry, it says blending eye brush. And I cleaned it off. Now I'm going to take that gold that is down below it, and we're going to put that just below what we just did. I know it's such a bright, bold color. We're going to finish off the lid with that color. Look at that. And I'm barely getting any on my brush. That's the fun part about it. A little goes a long way. And it makes it so bright and bold and bold. And so that is actually tamed down our top color. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of that top color again. And we're going to go over that just a smidge halfway. Look at that. Just a smidge halfway. And it makes it so beautiful. So today's eye color is just two colors. Eye look is just two colors. We got that green and that brown together. Perfect, beautiful. Simple, light, refreshing. And that is all we're going to do. Just those two colors. I'm not going to put on mascara today because my eyes are still healing and I want to take it easy, because you put on mascara, it's more towards your eye. So there is that. And I didn't do foundation. I just did my brows and that. But we do have a cheek palette as well. Wonderful cheek palette. This is bronzer, blush, and highlighter. The highlight is so beautiful. Look at that. So just light enough and just perfect enough. But that is all I have for you today. I really wanted to just show you the difference between the two brows. You can use a pencil or you can use an actual brow palette. Brow palette reminds me of eyeshadow, and that's what I'm used to doing, so that's what I did. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.